welcome to episode 12, of Forest and Freedom. Yeah, we've got a little bit to talk about today. We obviously missed an episode, so we've got a little bit of catching up to do on some previous things. And Carly and I are both tired, so that's always good. It's been pretty windy up here. So it could be a fun episode. It could be a boring episode. Just depends how the tiredness goes, I suppose. What happens?
Yep. Which way we go.
So how are you, Carly, other than tired?
Oh, yeah. I'm all right. Overwhelmed, but that's just the usual these days.
Yeah, well, yeah, been a lot on, and you know, you sort of get involved in other fights and stuff now, which just means you've got more things to watch and keep an eye on. So
yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but it'll all be worth it if we can do something for all Victorians.
Yeah, make some difference, some positive changes. Good.
Yeah.
Right, well, the first thing on our list to talk about today is we went into Parliament on Wednesday the 14th for the petition to be debated, which was the largest petition in Victorian history, so that's pretty cool. Do you want to kick us off?
Oh God, it feels like it was like months ago now, but it was only last week. Like it's been that much going on. So we made our way down to Parliament, which is always interesting with me and Tim. With me driving because I've got control issues, but yeah, interesting. And
you learn how to do hook turns.
I did. I was forced to learn hook turns.
I was forced to quickly remember so I could explain it to you.
It's a hook turn. It's a hook turn. I'm like, what the hell, hook turn?
I go the wrong way, and then when the light goes, you can go the right way.
Just follow that car, all right? So anyway,
you're not supposed to do because it's only supposed to be one car at a time.
But
because you're already in the intersection, it's just like get in behind them, make it happen.
It was a panic mode. Quick, just go.
Yeah. You were like super calm and happy to be driving in Melbourne.
Oh yeah, no swearing whatsoever.
No.
Anyway, so Parliament, yeah. We that was interesting. It was pretty cool. Like everyone was really nice. The debate, oh my God. Like we had the gallery full of everyone. So I've got a photo here, so I'll just add it quickly. So this was everyone that we had in the gallery. So I'm doing I don't know what I'm doing there. Apparently it looks like I'm singing opera. I don't know why I was.
My eyes were closed, but
I don't know why I was doing something weird in that photo, but anyway. Oh, that guy's looking up at the ceiling.
I was stirring Bill up.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's staring at the ceiling. At least I wasn't doing that.
They're impressive ceilings.
They were. I couldn't stop looking at them. But anyway, we had all these people in the gallery upstairs, and oh my God, the Liberals were talking, and the Nats, and they're putting our things across. It was so great to hear Melina talk about this. Like she's so good about all of it. Then we had the one Labor guy, Tom. Is it Tom? I can't even remember his name. That's how insignificant he was.
They don't matter because they're Labor guy. Yeah.
So there's one Labor in there listening to the biggest Victorian parliamentary petition. They couldn't even bother to show up. So there was him and another guy. They were talking the entire time. Yeah. So this guy,
in theory, they're listening in their offices.
Ugh, as if. But anyway, they couldn't even show up. So this guy gets up, starts saying, the stupidest stuff, just attacking the Nats and the Libs, and didn't even make it about our issue, just another attack at the opposition. So
he was basically saying that the Nats and the Libs started all this and that
A
it's all
scare
misinformation,
campaign.
campaign and tactics, and it's shameful and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but a lot of what's been coming up isn't actually coming from the Nats and the Libs, although they have been good. I'm not saying they're not involved. A lot of that's been
It
coming
was from us.
from people like yourself and other groups as well. You know, you got your forestry guys, and they've got their own fight for the reasons that we. I mean, I support them largely. You've got your graziers and things like that who would like the cows to help keep the fuel loads down, the fire fuel loads down up in the high country there. So there's a whole
demographic of people that were there
that are giving this information to the Libs.
That we've been fighting for. Like, this is not just a political stunt. It is actually, there's actually people behind this. The political side really had minimal. There was really minimal political anything in the campaign that we did to get all those signatures, and just for him to just come out and say that it was just an attack by the Libs, and it was just, you could see the steam rising from everyone's ears in the gallery. Like, I was about to jump the balcony. And
that's fair, because effectively what he was saying is, hey, everyone who signed this petition, you're all idiots. You shouldn't
because you've been misinformed, and the Libs and Nats have run a scare campaign, and you've got no idea what you're talking about.
So
basically,
thanks, mate.
yeah. So, and then that Catherine Copsey gets up.
Oh, yeah, she's your mate, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but the one after. Anyway, she gets up. She starts saying about the survey, how there's 89% of people want national parks, and it's just, that survey is just so easily pulled apart. It's just a joke. Like, I literally started laughing when she brought it up, and then she brings up Trump. Like, they've got no other way of dealing with the Victorian people having a voice and saying what they feel and everything than to bring up Trump.
Sorry. Yeah, it's sort of a roundabout way of going, you're all a bunch of Nazis, because what they do, they used to just say that. Now
it's the left.
They call Trump a Nazi, and then so if you do anything that they say, oh, that's like Trump, they're saying, well, you're like a Nazi. That's
So the basic left wing, we don't like you, or we're not going to listen to what you say because whatever you're saying is Trumpian. They're trying to say that, oh, look at what Donald Trump's doing to the United States national parks. We don't want to be like Trump. And what are you even on about, woman? Is that to do with Trump?
I'm not actually too sure what Trump's doing with national parks in the United States, but they're a completely different story.
I was gobsmacked to the point where I actually got into the group, and I'm like, of course, one of the Greens has to bring up bloody Trump. That's their rebuttal to 40,000 Victorians saying they don't want more national parks. They have to bring up Trump.
Yes.
It's pathetic.
And
but anyway, so
I know that there's a lot of people in our group that would support Trump, and there's a lot of people that definitely wouldn't. It's
irrelevant.
Yeah.
It is irrelevant. It doesn't need to be brought up, but that's their go-to,
Well, it's their just shut up now. You don't matter anymore.
Yeah. So, anyway, so we ended up seeing her afterwards. We went and saw David Limbrick at one of his talks, and she went to go and talk to Tim, and then she saw me, and she did a big hook turn quick and walked the other way. So I apparently I haven't made much of a very good impression on Miss Copsey. But
no, but you did get along with. So David Limbrick invited us to an event, which
is so beautiful.
Nothing to do with what we're doing, I guess, broadly. But just it was about finances and how the government doesn't give politicians all the information they need and all this sort of stuff. So it was just letting them know that stuff. Bit boring. But
Tim wanted the free food.
I wanted the free food, and I didn't want to leave during peak hour. So I thought, hey, look, if I can
Yeah,
get free
yeah.
and not leave during peak hour, we should go to
Yeah.
David Brick's, little, I guess, sort of like a little cinema thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you met someone there that you got along all right with.
Moira. I love Moira Deeming. She's I love the fact that she's wearing John Pursuto's bloody balls as earrings right now. She's a legend. And she could not be nicer. She is such a nice person. We're sitting there talking for ages. And yeah.
So yeah, so it was worth going for the free food and to meet Moira.
Yeah. And to see Copsy do the ooh. Quick, run away. But anyway, we got I think it went well. Like, they didn't have anything to come back at us about. Like, and then it was that day there was actually a one of the Greens, Alan Sandel. She's a joke. She got up in the in the lower house, and she asked a question about Wombat, about when it's going to be legislated, because they haven't legislated it yet. And she's mentioned the same stupid survey.
Yes.
And Dimo got up and actually said to her, like, state forests are just as important as national parks. He basically just shut her down and was like, we are for people being out in the bush and using it respectfully. And she was slamming them for the great outdoors task force not recommending any new national parks. And he was basically like, well, no, that's why I put this task force together, so that there wasn't just where VAC was just saying constantly national park, national park, national park. So Dimo actually put together a task force to stop the whole national park thing from just constantly being replayed. And she wasn't happy, and she just got shut down by the minister. And I thought that was funny. So that shows that the whole attitude towards this situation has changed. Where when we first came into this, when we first when I went to that meeting in Alex, when this all started, it was, what do you want to see in your national park? And now it's, no, we want state forests. Like, the fact that we've been able to show what the silent majority really think compared to the screaming, whinging greenies. I think we've had a really good win with that, if you want to win the next election or whatever, you can go by your stupid 1,300 people survey, or you can listen to the 40,000 people that signed a petition saying no more national parks.
Yeah. And we've pointed this out in previous episodes, but that survey is easy to...
Oh, it's ridiculous. They've loaded questions. It's, do you like taking your family out into national parks?
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so stupid. This questions are just stupid. Yeah. The whole thing's just stupid. It's been pulled apart that many times, and the fact that they're still using it, it's just idiotic. It's embarrassing.
Well, that's all they've got.
Exactly, but that's not. But we've pulled it apart that many times. It's like, would you just? Well, then they'll have to go to Trump. So
it's like where you watch like an alien movie where you got some alien and bullets don't affect it or something like that, but everyone keeps shooting. It's like, why don't you just stop shooting and run away at that point? It's a little bit like that. They just keep using that one weapon they have, but the weapon's not effective.
It's not effective, and they just can't come to grips with the fact that there's actually people behind this, and it's really strange to see the mentality of these people. It's literally like a cult. It scares me.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's like. There's a reason for that.
It scares the absolute crapper out of me. But
Mm.
anyway, so, and it went well. We yeah, it was a late night by the time we got home, because we didn't leave till 8 o'clock. And then this is how bad Melbourne's fallen. We're driving out of Melbourne, and on every corner there is a policeman standing there. Like, this is how bad the crime's gotten in Melbourne, that they have to have.
That was all around Parliament House, so you expect them to
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's nuts. Like,
yeah,
that is insane. Like, you come out to the country, you've got one copper at the station, and he's there probably 40% of the time, if that. You know, no, there's all these attacks and everything happening down there. It's really gone to the dogs down there.
yeah.
And then every time I go down there, I get sick. I'm allergic to the place.
Well, that was a note I had for a previous show, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're the proof that cow farts are less harmful than whatever is in the city air.
Well, you hear me when I'm driving home. My sinuses, everything start just going bad. I end up with migraines. Like, after the rally we're going to talk about next, my God, I haven't been so sick for years.
Yeah.
Just the air pollution. That's just, and then I come back out to the country air, and it starts getting better. But you don't realize how bad it is down there. Like, it's a cesspool.
Yeah, I don't think people realise that a lot of that fog seems to get stuck on their brains and they stop functioning properly. But
I'm just at the point where I do not want to go back down there ever. I will if I have to protest, but it's disgusting.
Oh, well, we'll move on to protest since you brought it up. Or is there anything more to say? I mean, I guess just to wrap up, so Wednesday, so the petition went really well, as Carly said. Labor didn't have any real rebuttal to it. The Greens tried, but it's basically bullets bouncing off bulletproof skin. Don't keep shooting Superman. You got to bring up Trump, because that's the only other weapon they've got, and that's also really ineffective. And so now it's a matter of wait and see how things actually pan out. And for that, guys, the government sometimes can make you wait a long time so that the movement dies down. Do not lose interest. Do not let the movement die down, or things start happening quick. So just stay informed, and that's partly why we've sort of pivoted to another little argument and little political fight at the moment to keep things rolling, and because it's damn well important.
It is. But before we move on, I need to mention too that Leonie and the committee, they actually put together this book, a booklet of ways to manage the bush, and it's amazing. It was so great. So every minister and every MP were given one of these books, which basically does Labor's job for them and tells them how to manage the bush without shutting it off into national parks. And it was very well received by the minister's staff, and it was very, very positively spoken about at the time. Very good feedback from people flipping through it. So so the Great Forest National Park people, they took their $30 guide that they've had printed of an imaginary park that doesn't exist, and so they have this big book that they went and gave one to every member of Parliament to try and sell this Great Forest National Park pipe dream. So this was basically our rebuttal, how you can manage the bush without turning it into a national park, and what the people want versus what the greenies want, and how it would be better outcomes for everyone if you go by our booklet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very good. That was very well done, and a huge shout out to them for doing that. But yeah, then on to the next thing, eh?
Yeah, so the protest on Tuesday, which was Tuesday the 20th, once again, Carly drove into the city. So this is good. I hate driving in the city, so this works well for me.
I was trying to get out of it.
Wasn't quite as stressful driving in this time, but the place we were going, they closed the road for the car park we wanted to use, and then
Funny that.
We were doing well up until then.
Yeah,
we ended up getting parked up, and we were in there before 9 o'clock.
Yes. In the cesspool.
Well, there was good people there this time.
Oh, that's what I said in our live, because I live streamed it. You can find that on our page still on No More National Parks. And
yeah, you can listen to Carly yelling at everyone.
Oh, I can't even do anything with the footage because all it is me yelling.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
It's hard to live stream because you can't be that involved. You've got to be pretty quiet.
I never realized at all. Live streamed. I learned a big lesson there. Next time, shut your mouth, Carly. But anyway, so I've got some pictures here. Basically, what it's about is this this tax. So the emergency services levy tax, volunteers tax, and there's going to be a huge increase everywhere, but it is unevenly against farmers and the farmers are generally the CFA volunteers. So that's where people have kicked up about it. And everyone says that, but CFA and SES get the rebate. So which for one, first they have to pay the amount. Two, there's no actual thing set up for those people to get that money back at this moment while they're trying to push this bill through. Oh, well, they've pushed this bill through. It's already gone through. But there was no testing, nothing. Like, it was gone through in the dead of night. It's the most disgraceful thing you'll probably come across in a long time. But so all the fire brigades have basically gone offline. They've said, shove it.
Well, not all, but a good number.
Yeah. So, but because they're not actually, with the way that it's done, it's for your primary residence, so they can get a rebate on their primary residence. But if they own different parcels of land, or if they've got investment properties or whatever, then they're still paying this rebate. It's tax, so
they pay full amount of their tax for any other parcel, and that's it. When it comes to titles, most primary producer farmers have more than one title for their land.
Yes, and with so they've dropped it down. The Greens worked their magic. They did so great on the night. What a joke. They got it down to 150.2 increase instead of 189. But even with the 150 increase, these farmers are still going to be, some of the calculations I did, it's up to an extra $5,000 a year. So it might not seem like a lot to us, or to, with what we've got to pay for residential, which it's gone up 100%. So you will be paying double. But for these farmers, they're struggling at the moment. We can't even get our area to be made as a drought-stricken area officially, so they can get the government grants.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to pull an extra 5G out of their butts.
Well, some of the calculations I've heard other people doing, they calculate it significantly more than $5,000 for some.
Oh yeah, it depends on how much land you've got, and how much the CIV is. So you can't. And I'll show you something that infuriated me today, because this is the type of stuff what the problem is, right? So the letter that I did up, which we'll talk about in a minute, but was shared to a community page, and I was like, I'm just going to have a look and see what people are saying on it. And this guy gets on and goes, more cooker crap. Maryborough is the cooker capital, and then like Tim turns around and not you, Tim, another Tim, says clearly you can afford the levy for years to come, then as it increased every year to cover the big builds in Melbourne. And he said, no, I just pass the costs on to the tenants. So he's speaking about renters.
Yeah.
And then somebody else comes along and goes, well, you're part of the problem. And he goes, it's how business works. That's not how you treat each other in Victoria. Like, it just infuriated me. Huh?
So someone like this is probably like just a rusted on Labor person. Labor can never do anything wrong as far as they're concerned. The cooker thing's frustrating because, you know, guys, we've got to be a bit more careful. Like, I know there are people with lots of different opinions, and some of the stuff I think you guys go a little bit too far, and I disagree and think you're sort of, you know, you're getting.
Oh, people are going off at me for saying
too much, but that's your right to have those beliefs and investigate all that stuff. We don't kick people out for having those opinions, but when you bring them onto the page, it means other people are less inclined to take us seriously. So we need to be very careful with that sort of stuff. You guys can have your opinions. We don't have to agree with them. But
that was even me. That was the letter that I put up. So it wasn't cooker crap. But
but if you're looking at the page, man, there are some people with some pretty out there.
Oh, look, I'm being had a go at in our video because I mentioned sovereign citizens.
Yeah.
Because I said that this isn't about a sovereign citizen thing. This is, this is actually, it is about the Constitution, but I'm not a sovereign citizen. I don't see, and everyone's having a go at me for that one sentence out of that whole thing. Like, I'm asking you to do something, and user in the comments, complaining that I said sovereign citizen. Just what else am I supposed to call it? I don't know.
Well, that's what they call themselves, but then it's
like, and then apparently it's derogatory.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't care. I don't even know what it is. I'm just saying
when you disagree with them. Look, guys, like I said, you're entitled to have those opinions and make those fights, but when you do that in other groups, you can take the legitimacy away from a movement when you're pushing back.
Prime example
go on.
Was at the rally when that woman with the
Jackie
speakerphone kept yelling out all this stupid stuff, and it gets you immediately shut down. And it did with her and her group. They were told to shut the F up and yelled at, and I was one of them. But it was, that's not the time or the place when people are doing speeches and, trying to speak to all the thousands of people that turned up for that rally to listen to those speakers, to be then with a megaphone yelling out all this stuff. That's not how you get people on your side. Sorry, but
no, look, and you can't. I mean, people. If let's say the whole sovereign citizen let's say they're 100% correct about everything. You're not going to win people over by shocking them with too much information. You want to convince me of this stuff. Give me a little bit at a time. Let us digest it. Let us take it in. Now, I try to keep an open mind to these things. I'm not inclined towards the sovereign citizen stuff, although quite often they're touching on a whole lot of truth. They're seeing a whole lot of patterns and stuff, things that are actually an issue. And I think then they conclude too much from that.
And it's an easy rabbit hole to get stuck down. Like there's a lot of them that are rabbit holes, but you know, like the thing that we've brought up, that I've just posted today about the letter that we're putting out to council. So this is our next step forward after the protest, right? So this is how we make we make our voices heard even further, is that we've identified, had lawyers and a few other people that have identified that this tax, or they don't want to call it a tax, but it is under the Constitution, it is a tax. I've looked that up. It is a tax, and it actually goes against the Constitution, and it's not able to be under the Commonwealth Constitution. Taxation needs to be fair amongst the states and within parts of the states. So them coming out and saying, you know, residential people in Melbourne, it's lower than people who own farmland in rural Victoria. It's illegal. So
well, they're going to make their claim that it is fair because it costs more in rural areas and all that. But that's something that needs to be done in the courts. And
so basically, I've just handed it to the councils. So I've asked people to send the letter to their councils, which they are, which is amazing. There's already that many councils that have already received it. But it's to get the councils' attention about this, to give them the fuel, because all the councils in the MAV have detested this. They've said there's no way we are going to support this tax, and every councillor, every mayor, they're all speaking out against it in unity now that they've passed this thing to say that they don't support it. So we're now just giving them that information to then go, oh, for the mayor of their shire to see, oh, well, we're getting all these, you know, these letters saying about, you know, a part of the Constitution that this could go against. Maybe we can give this to the MAV and they can look into it with their big resources of lawyers and all that stuff, and that might be the way that they get this tax scrapped. So the group, we don't have those sorts of we don't have legal backing or anything like that, or resources or anything like that to test this if it does need to go to the High Court or whatever. So we just pass that information on, and that's why I'm asking people to pass it on to their councils to get as many people aware as possible. Because if just one person sent it, if I just sent that to my council, they'd look at it and they go, oh, look, ignore that.
Yeah.
But if there's 1,000 people sending them to their councils, they're all going to go, they're going to come together and they're going to say, well, I got the same letter. We need to look into this.
And it pushes at least respond to the people.
Yeah.
So they're saying they're not going to do this. They need to give you a reason why, because there's so many people, you know, so.
And therefore, and it forces their hand. So it's not that the shires haven't wanted to, because I've been speaking to a lot of the mayors, and well, two of our mayor, I didn't even know Damien was down there for the rally, and Mansfield Council's mayor, Steve, he was down at the rally as well. So there is a lot of councillors and mayors that are speaking out against this, and they're actively attending the rallies. I think Steve Raby got from Mansfield got on Arvy's show. And his interview is such a crack up. He's such a legend. I love Steve. He's such a good mayor. But there is a lot of people that are against this, and you know, if we don't, we just need to get our voices heard. And if this is the way we use our voices, is to get the resources of these big groups to use their resources, then yeah, that's how we move forward.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was a very successful protest. I never got a final count on what the numbers were like. There's
I
always
saw
different things.
8,000.
Yeah, I'm really bad with the numbers. I said, look, more than 20 is a pretty good bet. More than 20
Yeah,
people.
you did say that. So,
But yeah, look, eight to 10,000, I would say, is probably a pretty good ballpark.
so I'm just putting some photos up. These were the ones that Tim got when he was climbing up on top of the. What were you climbing up on top of?
I would not do that. You're not allowed to climb up on the tram things.
Oh, you're a sovereign citizen. But anyway, so and like this is the one I made. This was from Parliament steps where we weren't allowed to go, but it shows there was thousands and thousands and thousands, and it was funny because the media started to say, you know, hundreds of people have gathered at Parliament, and there's 30 trucks, and there was like 200 trucks. But as soon as people started calling that out, their narratives all changed, and it started the correct information started to get out, which funnily enough, that's how you make them tell the truth, is you get in their comment section and you start saying, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like when they were saying about how the protests were unruly and we were purposely holding up.
Yeah. Well, there was that one little incident. Yeah.
But they were saying, you know, that it was, you know, we were there to be disruptors, basically. And then there was people that were coming out that actually live and work around Spring Street, and they're saying, excuse me, but I actually saw this protest, and this was the most well coordinated and well behaved group of people that we've ever seen in the city. Yeah. Like, and so
another guy from David Limbrick's office was saying the same thing, because it meant they go to all the protests, whether they agree or not. They like to hear what people are saying. And he said it's one of the best organised protests.
Yeah, and for, like thousands of people were there. The only ones that there was a few fire trucks that were left behind that got towed. But you know, look at what they're doing in all the EU countries. You know, we're not there spraying cow poo or anything like that on Parliament steps yet. But you know, it's it's it was very well coordinated, very well handled, and everyone behaved themselves really well. And
look,
anyway.
And there were people that wanted to disrupt traffic and stuff like that, and
the organisers actually said,
at some point you need to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong at some point.
But that's not how you get people on your side to begin with. That's not how you start a movement against something. You need to get people on your side. And that's what I've said from the beginning, when people were saying with the Great Forest National Park fight, they're all going, oh, why don't you go? Why aren't we on Parliament steps protesting and all this? And
blocking the streets with four drives, and
I got so angry every time I saw it, because I'm like, no, that's not how you get people on your side. You don't piss off people to get them on your side. And that's what I've stuck with this whole time. And look at how far we've come, because we've gone through the right channels and we've gone through the right way. And that's what the CFA and the UFU did with organising this rally. They worked with the police. We had zero arrests or any issues with police whatsoever, with thousands and thousands of people there. When you'll see the pro-Palestinian people, they're, you know, going up and down the streets every single weekend. How many police resources, how many arrests and everything happen every single weekend? And that's a couple hundred people compared to what we attended and what we saw. Like, hats off to them. They did such a great job.
Yeah, and I think it's good. Just behave yourselves for now. Build up the movement. If the government refuses to move, well, then you start thinking about whether you want to bring some spreaders into the city or not.
That's when you start spraying the steps with cow manure. And while we're on the subject of cow manure,
yeah,
we've got a very upset premier at the moment.
yeah.
Do you want to tell set the scene?
Well, I mean, look, I feel very sorry for her, really. I mean, just imagine that you're in your work desk and someone brings in a box. I suppose she comes into her office and someone's left a box there with a neatly wrapped, in plastic, quite hygienically done, a little bit of bull crap, That's all it is. This is, in 2 days she's on the news crying about, not feeling safe at work and all this. So after the protest, Melina was given, was it Melina? No,
Bev.
Bev was given a box, or one of the.
No, she let them in. She let them in.
That's right.
Parliament.
So, and they
Which
dropped
good on you, Bev. You're an icon for doing that, Bev. Legend.
Yeah, they dropped this off at Jacinta's office, and I think it's a message, and it's also probably a fair warning.
100%.
We can really spread this stuff around, or you can take the message from a neat little box. But let's see if we can find. Have you got the bull who's responsible for producing such bull?
We did find the culprit. Look, we've had to censor his ear tag. I'll let the video explain. He's in a bit of a predicament at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, mate, you're a bit famous now. Now, look, we might have to move paddocks. We might have to put you in a different paddock, mate. Yeah, we might have to put you in a different paddock. You might have to go under witness protection. Now, if anyone turns up here and they're wearing a T-shirt that says "I stand with Dan," or they're wearing a red T-shirt, lots of people in red T-shirts, you need to tell them you don't know nothing. And if they ask if your name's Brutus, say no. I identify as Daisy, the Jersey dairy cow now. I don't know who Brutus is. All right, mate? We'll just get you in the other paddock where no one will find you.
I hope someone from government goes, a dairy cow, and tries to milk him.
Poor Brutus. He's a legend now. He's an Aussie icon now, Brutus.
Yeah.
But he's had to go into witness protection. So we did censor his ear tag so that he can't be, tracked. He's in another paddock now. He's been moved. He's trying to stay low, but he was the one who produced the delivery that was given to JA. And
there's been a couple of good videos come out around that. So
the way that she's crying about it, like, are you serious? Are you for real?
Like someone put up a bull they called, is it VLP? Did you see that one?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. Oh, what was it about again?
VLP, so Victorian Labor Party.
Yeah.
Because he's full of bull crap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and got his nose in the trough always.
Always got his nose in the trough. Yeah.
And then he goes over to his feet and puts his head in the trough.
So yeah, a few angry. I think the whole thing of her kicking up a stink about this really actually says something, which could be easy to miss. Yeah, I mean, I understand that any animal poo is kind of not nice, but to get on the media and act like you're such a victim that this sort of thing should never have, like, I don't know if she knows what an apprenticeship's like. I've had the stuff thrown at me.
Oh, I had some woman, there was a woman in the comments who was saying, how would you like to come out before dawn and come out and milk these cows? She's like, the only way that I keep warm is when the cows shit on my back. She's like, I welcome it.
It's warm.
Like, it shows how just completely removed from just reality she is. And she's meant to be some rural girl from Bendigo, you know.
City.
It's pathetic. And that Brad Batten won't condemn what his members of parliament did. And I was like, I was like, if he condemns Bev for that, I'm gonna that was gonna be the end of the Liberal Party in Victoria for me. I was onto it. But then he came out and said, Bev has got a blank check. And if she can do what she wants to stand up for the people of Victoria, and that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's exactly what we need. And the fact that Bev went in there and did that and sent the message from the Victorian people to her, no matter what happened, she, like, going against parliamentary whatever, just total legend, Bev MacArthur.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty rich. So the Labor Party basically says because the Liberal leader's not doing what we tell him to do, he's weak. I think this is the first time we're seeing a little bit of, well, it's not the first time, but we don't see much strength from the Liberal Party in Victoria for quite a while. It's
well,
good
we've had John.
I don't really care if Labor thinks what we did's wrong. We'll decide what we think is wrong, and it's good to see that. I hope he can keep that. I hope he can keep that. So. Yeah.
I was very impressed by that. I was worried in the beginning. I thought, he's not, because he said, it's not something that I would do, and that the reporters didn't put his whole interview up, and it was later on that they started saying, you know, that Jacinta Allen wants Brad Batten to condemn the behaviour of, and I hate that word, condemn. Like, it was a bit of shit. Like, come on.
I love how I'm not to swear and you just go.
I can't help it. It's just so stupid. Yeah. And like, to condemn somebody, like, think of what the real word of condemn means. Yeah. Like, to put, like, they throw the words like Nazi, you know, condemn, you know, all of these just radical extremist words around, and over the smallest things. And it's so blatantly obvious. Huh?
I love it the best when they say fascists.
Fascists.
Because by definition, like, their politics is fascist. But anyway.
They're just, it's insane, the wording that these people use. And, you know, like, it's like they've never picked up a history book and looked at what actually has happened in history that has actually been fascism, that has actually been Nazism, that has actually been condemning behaviour, you know, people hung in the streets because of what they've done.
Well, there's a little thing called the Gulag.
And they, you know, they use these words just off the top of it just they spew out. They just come out normally. And it's like, you guys have got issues.
Yeah. Well, if everyone's a Nazi, nobody's a Nazi.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing that word now has no meaning. So if there's so many extremists that are starting to come up, and we've got so much weird racial stuff going on in Australia that's not the Australian way.
Yeah.
And it's being fueled by the, you know, you don't have, like, the language that's coming from our government, and, you know, that we condemn that behavior. it's just, you use those words too much and they lose meaning. And that's what's happened. The machete attack on the weekend. That's another thing. Have you seen that they've got a knee-jerk reaction? They're now bringing the machete ban up to this Wednesday.
Well, they've been talking about that for a while. Look, my response to that is I think it's really brilliant when the government figures out what's wrong. And if you have a problem of law-abiding people going out and attacking other people with machetes, then probably a machete ban would help. The problem I don't think they've realised is normally if you're willing to attack someone with a machete, you're probably not a law-abiding person, so you don't really care if there's a machete ban.
No.
It reminds me a little bit of gun law stuff. It's doing something to be seen to be doing something. All it really means is law-abiding people who would get a machete for its proper purposes, its proper uses, now will have a hard time getting one.
What's it called? They're punishing the people who are, doing the right thing, going out and, they don't go and attack people in shopping centres with machetes. They actually have them for reasons out in the bush and everything. They're punishing those people over the actions of people that are going into shopping centres and attacking people with machetes. Yeah. Do you really think that that's going to do anything except put some legislation on the books that says, yeah, well, we tried to do something about it? It's like these bail laws. What a load of crap.
Well, I think they might regret the machete thing too, because it's not hard to actually make something far worse. If you get your hands on a slasher blade, get an angle grinder, right, and you can wrap a little bit of wood or something and make a handle, that's going to be a lot more damaging than machete. So,
all you got to do is look at the prison system. Yeah. What have they got in prison? Nothing. But they get shanks. They carve down their freaking toothbrushes to the point where they can take somebody's throat out. So, do you really think that, banning steak knives, what's it going to come to? You're going to start banning forks because someone might stab someone in the throat with a fork? I shouldn't say that because I'm giving Labor ideas. I shouldn't do that.
Well, no, you don't. I don't think you need to. Like, if there's a dumb idea, Labor's already thought of it at this stage, I think.
Thought, or is it just been like a spew fart in their brain and it just happens?
I think with them, thoughts are basically spew farts.
They're spew farts.
So, now, I think just while we're still on the protest and that broadly, because we're probably coming up to close to that hour, we've got a couple of other things to cover. A few people are going like, is this protest actually going to change things? And the quick answer is no, very unlikely. There's very small possibilities, but no, what the protest does is it does let the government know they need to keep an eye on things. That a lot of people are unhappy. It helps grow the movement, especially when you have a big one, because the next one's likely to get even bigger because people go, oh, look, it's worth going to, it's worth supporting, people are showing up.
Yeah.
And it could be bigger too if we don't have other protests on the same day in other towns. That's another conversation for organisers to work.
But I get it because they couldn't leave their farms. A lot of these farmers, they can't just up and leave their cattle and everything to be fed because there's no one to do it. Like, right. I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Just maybe do it on a different day. That's because you want to try and push as many out to one location as possible, get the media.
Yeah. Maybe it was done on a weekend or something.
Yeah, there's no real harm done there. Like, it was still a big turnout in Melbourne, and people that are watching know that there was protests in Geelong and.
But the media didn't show it.
But the media didn't get in there and show it. No. So there's things like that. So basically, the protest builds the movement. It does put pressure on the government to try and do something. The other thing that can happen is now that they've got they've put out their budget and stuff, and it all looks good on the budget now because they've got all this money coming from farmers. There is just a possibility they and to go, all right, let's just scrap it. You know, we want to try and win the next election. Not a strong possibility, but it does lie there. So, so you've got to keep showing up to the protests. We've got to build them up until the government pays more attention. It also, and importantly, shows the Liberals and the Nationals and minor parties that this is something that really matters to people. You want our vote, you better be talking about this. And when you get in, don't you back down. Don't you turn around now and say, oh, look, we're in here. We've had a look at the budget, and unfortunately, we can't scrap the tax. That's not going to fly with us, right? You said just scrapping the tax. You're damn well going.
And that's why it being on national media, you know, them saying that, and that's why that I was very happy that the Nats and the Libs did come out and have their big signs, and they did it on stage in the microphone to say that they would scrap the tax, because they're now held to it. If they go against it, we just go, you know, we've got video footage of you saying you're going to scrap the tax. You know, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, you can't force them at that stage, but they would know that basically the next election they're going to get punished if they don't do as they've said. And you make sure they know that by continuing to build up the movement and the pressure, and that's partly through protesting. Yeah. So don't expect magic from a protest, guys. That's not how it works. I just wanted to touch on that because there was a lot of comments sort of going, well, you know, how come the government
Yeah. No, well, and that's why I've done the thing with the letter as well, because you've got to keep and the unions are doing, the UFU's doing, and CFA, they're pushing back in meetings and everything like that with the government at the moment still. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I've got that letter going to all the councils, so the councils will have some bit of fuel. The MAV, you know, can look into it. Maybe there might not be anything there. They might have, I doubt it, but it might fizzle to nothing. But just keeping that pressure up is just important.
Look at. But basically, I think the gist of what you're saying is there's a multi-pronged attack. We use any avenue we can to put pressure in. Yeah. One of them can be successful, generally not. Generally, it's a combination of things that changes a direction that the government's taking, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So keep up all of those things. Don't just go, oh, look, you know, our protest doesn't work. We just do the letters. The letters probably don't have as much effect if the protests aren't. So.
A good thing though for our group, well, and not just like the new people that are joining won't know this, but like we held our big protest, you know, to do the no more national parks sign up at Woods Point, and you know we had 1,000 people up at Woods Point. That was a big deal, and we got some media attention around that time, but then it just fizzled out, and we didn't do a lot. Except for doing the 4-wheel drive show to raise awareness and educate people about what was actually happening. But we had to do the multi-pronged, and it's been a year that we've been doing this. We had our anniversary episode last week or the week before. So it's still a year on with our fight. This is a lot bigger because it's got you've got CFA downing tools. Basically, you know, the Victorian government, they're supposed to keep us safe and, you know, look out for the people, and they're doing the exact opposite right now. So they're going to want to.
They're not doing the exact opposite of looking out for the people. I mean, they're still looking out for the people, but they're not doing it in the same way.
How are they looking out for the people?
Sorry?
How are they looking out for the people with this tax?
So I lost you for a second there, but you were talking about the CFA downing tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, by downing tools, they're still looking out for the people. They're just doing it on a different level.
Oh, I said the government, so I wasn't saying the CFA.
Because I do lose you occasionally. I've got bad reception today.
We were about to have a punch on then. That was about to get fisticuffs.
If you catch me defending the government, you know there's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, something's going on here. All right. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we've got multiple things happening. The scrap the tax petition. I think that's going to get more signatures than ours. That's going to. We didn't hold the record for long.
Yeah, that's a shame, but it is good.
I think it's about to. Yeah, I think it was, last time I checked, it was at 38,000 or something like that. So ours was 40 something. So I think theirs is going to surpass us, which I'm very, very happy about.
Yep.
But
make sure that goes in the.
I'll put it in the description. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll leak that in the description, and make sure you sign that, folks. And it's very, very important. But you have to be a Victorian resident. Yeah. So I feel like and this is why I think why I ended up with a migraine, and why I've been, last week why I just couldn't do an episode. Tim was saying to me, did you screenshot the messages that we actually sent? And he was saying to me that we need to do an episode, and I'm like, all right. And I was trying to get myself okay, and I ended up just having this big outburst and sent a photo of my kitchen of how dirty it is, and I'm like, I can't even do my own dishes. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of not having time for myself, and I got really crook, and then I had a bit of an anger meltdown, and we've got a lot happening at the moment that's taking up a lot of my brain space.
Yeah,
and everyone else's.
You need a break.
I felt bad.
Well, we'll try and get some banked up episodes on some different conversations that we can just release, and we just got to get better at what we're doing with being prepared like that. So and obviously pretty new to this whole podcasting thing.
And Carly's not fun to be around when she's like that at all. And
look, I don't like you when you're like that, so I don't expect
No. That's why I usually don't let it out, but I actually let it out to you and Mick, and I was well and truly over everything that day.
It's all right when you do that. I'll just put my head down. I'll shed a little tear.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I feel bad enough already. I felt like I let everyone down, and I put way too much pressure on myself, and everyone keeps saying, stop doing that and stop. But I'm learning this.
You need to put pressure on yourself if you want to be doing the best you can be doing. And that comes at a cost of then always feeling like you're not doing enough, which isn't true. Like you're probably doing more than, the majority of people would be safe to say. And so it's trying to find that balance between doing your best and working hard at it without killing yourself or losing yourself.
Yeah. But see, my stubbornness doesn't allow me to hit a threshold. I don't think there is a limit there. I think there's I don't know. We'll see what happens. I've never done this before, so let's see whether Carly ends up in a psych ward or not.
Yeah. Now, speaking of psych wards, you all decided to take on more work.
Oh yeah.
and you sucked me in along with you, so thanks for that.
I have. Yes. Well, we are such a good team, so I've brought Tim along. We've got with the Australian Recreation Union. We're still working on that, and we've actually come up with the nationwide situation where I will actually be the lead for Victoria. So I'll have the Victorian ARU branch. I will be the lead, and so I'm pretty excited about that because we can do so much around the outdoor rec situation. And where did you go? Tim. All right, so we lost Tim for a second there. He went all black and he disappeared. He didn't put his phone on Do Not Disturb. Someone tried to call him, so welcome back, Tim. And we were talking about how we've started up the Vic branch of the ARU, and I'm so excited that we're going to have like the autonomy to do what we want with the outdoor recreation space in Victoria. And I'm going to have Tim with me, and we've got a couple of other people that we can't announce yet, but you will be very, very excited to hear about. I'm so excited about it anyway.
Is it Donald Trump?
It's Trump. It's totally Trump. And we've got JD Vance.
Oh, we got JD.
We got JD. We got JD. We did. We've probably just got the ARU cancelled straight out. Just right now. Sorry.
It was worth a try. Sorry, guys. Me, my big man.
But anyway, I understand that there's, because we haven't got a lot of resources at the moment. Obviously, because we're just starting up, but we're doing the work, but we don't have the website and stuff like that, you know, to kind of spruik ourselves. So I thought I'd just, you know, kind of explain a little bit what the objectives are of the Australian Recreation Union. So I actually got the formal stuff sent to me, and it's defining the objectives of the Australian Recreation Union. And it's, so the first one is to resist unjustified legislative changes or restrictions of recreations nationally, establish a political development program, education of members, increase opportunity and access for all recreation, and advocate for members and increase positive perceptions of all recreations, which I am so excited about doing that, because you know, you've got all your hunting organizations, you've got your shooting organizations, where even though we're called the Australian Recreation Union, we're not actually a union, we're an advocacy group. So we do all different types of advocacy. So obviously I will be on public land access and a lot of the, you know, what's going on with national parks and keeping national parks from happening. Tim's got a wealth of knowledge on guns and a few things about the laws and everything like that, but there's a lot of others that are coming in with their other sides of their recreation use. So they're going to have, we're going to have basically an advocacy group for all outdoor rec in Victoria. And I think that's so exciting. And it's like, so there's national branches. So there's a New South Wales one, a South Australia one. So everyone's dealing with all different issues in different states. So, and we all know Victoria has got some massive issues. And so who better to take them on than me and Timmy, who have been...
To probably use people better, but we're doing it. So
we are doing it. We're taking the leap. So yeah,
I think the branches are separated, because like in New South Wales, it's quite a different battle to what we're doing in Victoria.
It's so different because they've already changed all. They're already national parks, so they've already got the issue.
Yeah.
So we're behind on what New South Wales has done with Victoria. So we haven't had those national parks implemented yet, but they were on the agenda, and they are on the agenda. And so I'm just so excited to be able to be, you know, spearheading again something that we're so passionate about. Well, it's funny because I was not passionate about it until I started learning about all this stuff. But yeah, so if you're not a member, jump on, because it's going to be worth your $20 membership fee.
Yeah, and it's not an exclusive thing either. So you can be members of other clubs like the PMVA and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully be working with those other organisations if that's what they want to do. Imagine PMVA probably would happy to.
Yeah.
Which is why I mentioned them specifically. Just
PMAV.
Oh, PMAV. Sorry. Anyway. Look, I'll just throw a bunch of letters out there. It sounds like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
okay?
acronyms. Gotta love them.
You just ruined it for me. Now people know that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, everyone knows we don't know what we're talking about.
Still do better than Labor and the Greens somehow.
That's why we're getting Trump involved.
I don't know if Trump knows what he's talking about most of the time. He just
talks. Yeah, he just talks. Good on him.
Yes. But I look forward to working with those organisations, but encouraging people, like, if your thing is prospecting, right, then join those other groups. But also, I mean, this is one of the reasons why our membership's quite cheap, is we want people to be involved in the fight wherever they're most passionate, and then together as the ARU.
Where it's all about uniting everyone. It's not about the money. It's not about what it's not what it looks like from the outside. It's what we can do from the inside, and that's why because it's really grassroots. That's why I'm really passionate about it, because I've seen it growing from the little baby that it is, and now it's like I've got this offshoot that's going to be just ours, and it's like
it's basically a more structured version of what you've been doing with Victorians Against the Great Forest National Park.
Yeah, well, it's not just a Facebook group. So imagine you've seen what we can do with a Facebook group. Imagine what we can do with an organisation with some legitimacy.
And so I think that's one of the exciting things about that, is it kind of is the next conclusion, which is to start working towards actually bringing these groups together in a more organised way. And the miners and prospectors and those people, which I get along with really well because I'm into collecting stones with my daughter. When they're getting attacked, well, the hunters come out, the four-wheel drivers come out, like the whole lot of us come out and support our mates who want to pick up stones.
The
hunters get coming under attack. Well, then a lot of the guys that do prospecting and stuff probably, a lot of them would do hunting and a lot of them wouldn't. But they all come out, we all work together, and I just that to me is like that old Australian spirit, like stick together. 100%.
That's why, and it's community. That's what I'm so big on, is community. And if just because it's not going to affect you now doesn't mean that you don't fight about it. And that's what that's what my issue is with the emergency services taxes. There's so many people that are like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just another tax. But you should be fighting for your community, and your community is your farmers, and that's where you get your food from. So there is implications for you, even if you don't see it. What?
It's just not right. You can't just
and we fight injustice, and so that's what we'll be doing with the ARU. Basically, is fighting injustice and keeping the government overreach and everything out of the outdoor recreation space. And I'm excited about it.
So once again, probably should put in a link in the description for people if they want to join up.
I'll put the membership link in the description.
So look, guys, that's something you can consider getting behind. I know money's tight for a lot of people now. You call it the cost of living, I call it the cost of government. It's much the same thing. Look, money's tight, and membership isn't expensive. Last time I checked, I think it's about $20
for a year.
So probably getting in now, the price will have to go up eventually.
There is talks of that, but joining now is your best bet. And it's going to be exciting. to work with everyone and unite everyone. And isn't it? But it's strange though, coming from a non-bush user a year ago. Isn't that funny? Like,
you went camping once.
I went camping once, yeah. Well, it just shows, you never underestimate someone's ability just by, what you see on the outside or what you think you know about someone. Because, I'm really about, I hate injustice, hate it.
Mm.
And, that's what's fueled this whole thing. So, yeah.
I think
Don't
long because we don't actually have a lot in common. We both hate
No.
injustice. We both don't like big crowds.
Yeah, we really don't. And when we don't like the city, and yeah, but yeah, I'm excited, and I'm so excited for you guys to find out who is going to be working with us. I just
Trump.
have to get.
I already called it.
I just have to get some stuff cemented. But yeah, excited. And membership link will be in the description of this video. Any questions about it, hit me up. I'm happy to answer anything. I do understand that there is limited information out there about the ARU. It's something we're working on, but we're grassroots. We don't have the money behind us to be, putting out ad campaigns, and we've got volunteers working on websites and everything like that. So we can't be pushing people. So we just need to be patient, but we're still fighting the good fights behind the scenes, and that's what matters, not how fancy and pretty your logo and everything is. So
yeah, that's the problem. You're sort of starting this organisation whilst in the fight. It's a bit hard to make everything look pretty straight up. But
well,
guys, there's something to consider supporting, and I'll certainly be doing my membership soon since I'm so involved. So
yeah, it's probably about time.
Yeah, I was just put off at first because of that word union, but I'll get over that.
I know, but and a lot of people are saying I was the same. I was like, a union? I don't do unions, but it's the wording of our organization. So we're not a union, but we are uniting bush users to fight each other's battles for each other. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's not a union.
All right, so we're ready to wrap up then, Carly?
We sure are.
All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it around. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm too tired.
Oh, gee, nearly an hour and 20. This could be our longest episode now. I don't know.
You did cut out for a little while, so I've got some editing to do. So thanks for
yeah. Sorry about the editing, Carly.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Stay in the fight, guys.